Assalamu alaikum, everyone. It's great to be here to talk about my experiences in leading digital transformation. I've had the humble privilege in leading a lot of digital transformation strategy and execution for some of the biggest companies in the world. And what I want to do today is I want to give you a practical guide of how you should actually do something like this within your organization. Because we can talk about very high-level ideas, but then how do you actually practically execute that? And how do you make money from it? Or how do you save money from it? These are the two most important things in any strategy that you implement. So I'm going to take you through some examples, a framework of how I've done this for some of the biggest companies in the world. But before I do that, I just want to play a quick video just to give you the context of where we're living right now, where we are. We are essentially living in the fourth industrial revolution, and we'll just play the video. So while they figure out the presentation, this is essentially gives you a snapshot on where we are heading, where we are, and what does actual digital transformation mean. Digital transformation for me is not a marketing strategy. It's not a sales strategy. It's not an IT strategy. It's essentially a commercial business strategy, which combines IT, sales, and marketing that delivers increased revenue through selling through e-commerce, increase profit through reaching the right customer at the right moment at the lowest cost, and it's new business development. So how can you make money from this transformation? What are the new products and services that you can create that either enhance your current value offering or actually increases the overall value offering that you have by moving into new digital products and services? But in order to start your digital journey, your senior leadership, as leadership in this room, need to have a growth mindset, not a fixed mindset, right? So over here you have three people. Who has the growth mindset and who has the fixed mindset? The fixed mindset are the two gentlemen there. And the growth mindset is someone that's saying, look, I have wheels, but I am too busy because I'm too busy trying to deliver my second quarter or third quarter, or I need to deliver the sales today. What is the ROI? And this is where digital transformation and a lot of organizations fail, because senior leadership have a very, very fixed mindset. So in order to have a growth mindset, you have to be prepared to fail. You have to be. And success is not going to come tomorrow. This is definitely a journey, so you have to have a growth mindset where you will learn fast, you will definitely fail, but you have to fail fast. And once you learn and fail, whatever you have done successfully, you have to scale fast. What is the ROI of digital transformation? The answer is your very existence as an organization. These are companies, we can see the winners and we can see the losers. And essentially, the ones that are the losers on the right-hand side were the companies and the leadership teams that had a very fixed mindset. The growth mindset were the Netflix and the Ubers and the Amazons of the world that saw the opportunity for disruption and they took it. Blockbuster, Kodak, Borders, they don't really exist now. But first of all, you have to really understand who your customer is. So what was surprising for me was this number. I think Irfan Bhai said it was around 40 million, so between 40 and 50 million. So if you look at just the mobile internet penetration of Pakistan, so these are people that are using their smartphones, accessing the internet on a regular basis, is about 40 million, 50 million people. That is bigger than the entire population of Saudi Arabia. That is 4 times bigger than the population of the UAE. That is bigger than the population of Canada. So this is your customer. Let's start there. This is your customer. This is your digital transformational customer. So really, really trying to understand who this customer is. What are these customers? These are the millennials. They're born between 1980 and 2000. They're essentially consuming media and essentially really driving something called the digital economy. Always on, always relevant experiences, whether it be on YouTube or Facebook or Google. These are the class of people that are driving the digital revolution. And there's 40 million of them in this country. So you as companies, how are you really engaging with these guys? Because there is a revenue opportunity here. There's a productivity opportunity here. A lot of these people are working in your organization, so how are you embracing them into your culture? These 40 million people are essentially driving the economy. Digital disruption has already happened. If we look at the largest movie house owns no cinemas, it's Netflix. The largest software vendors, they don't write any code. Apple and Google. The world's largest taxi company owns no taxis. It's Uber. And I can go on and go on and go on. What do? They actually monetize data. They understand their customer, they understand the needs of their customer, and they deliver a product of value that generates revenue for them because they understand their customer, they understand their digital customer. Now, if you look at the largest companies in the world 10 years ago, they were all oil and gas. There were some technology companies, but if you look now in 2018, Apple, Google, Microsoft, Amazon, Facebook, in terms of market capitalization, Apple has obviously reached now $1 trillion. They make money out of information, right? They make money out of information. Amazon, they started selling books. They sell everything now, and now they're going into brick and mortar. So while retailers are declining, the likes of Walmart are declining, Amazon is actually now opening stores. But they're using technology and they're creating meaningful customer experiences where you can walk into the store and walk out and you don't have to pay anything because everything is on your phone. So once you've understood who your customer is, so let's just say it's these 40 million millennial Pakistanis that are really will drive your digital transformation agenda. What do you want to do? Example. So this was an example of when I was leading digital media and e-commerce at GSK. You have to build a roadmap. What do you want to do? So this was all around how are we going to generate sales, market growth, and deliver brand equity for the GSK brands. So it was all around what do we want to do in search? How do we look at content? And putting KPIs in place that then we were able to deliver on those things. E-commerce, what do we want to do there? So it really gives you a practical guide of how do you want to make your investments, where do you want to allocate those investments? But the key thing really is, how are you going to execute this? Because a strategy, if it's not supported with resources and money, is just an idea. A strategy needs to be executed. So this is essentially a guide of what I've done throughout my career in terms of how you have to break down this strategy into practical means so that you can actually implement it within your company. So it starts with the people. So how many people here have digital in their title? How many people here have digital in their title? So it's just me? No one else has digital? You have digital in your title? Anyone else? Okay, so you need to have the right type of people in your organization to drive that digital transformation. So this is an example of GSK. You have a chief digital officer, reports directly into the CEO. It doesn't report to the head of marketing. It doesn't report into the head of IT. Reports directly into the CEO of the organization. And then you're essentially creating a new organization. Media and analytics, content and commerce, platform, digital innovation. This is how organizations of the future are going to operate. So if you really want to embrace digital transformation, the first thing that you have to do is you have to set up for it. You have to have the right people for it. Otherwise, let's just go home. What are the key process areas? So how do you actually, from a process standpoint within your organization, practically look at what are you going to use digital transformation actually for? So this is an example of Pfizer. The work that I did was, in Pfizer, it was all around how do we acquire new customers? How do we acquire doctors? How do we acquire doctors to engage with them? How can we use digital as a way to engage with our doctors rather than using the field force? Because we weren't getting enough time with the doctors through field force, so how do we use digital channels to engage with them? So we did this. What happened is the cost per engagement, so the cost of engaging with that doctor via the field force, digital gave us a 60% efficiency. So it was 60% cheaper than actually hiring staff to go and see the doctor. So again, very, very practical ways of where you can essentially start to gather momentum on what you want to do in digital, but you have to focus on what those things are. Another example, P&G. So in P&G, we had a problem, which was in China, we had launched a product called Olay Men. And the problem in China was that our go-to-market model of how we were promoting the product, how we were advertising the product, was all mass market. But the customers for this specific product were all mobile millennials. So what we did was we changed the go-to-market model and said to ourselves, we're not going to go on TV, and we're not going to sell in store. We're going to do everything online. So in the space of 18 months, we generated $25 million in revenue, and essentially just created a new sales channel. Because we really focused on what do we want to do. It's like it has to have, digital transformation has to be a commercially driven initiative, right? It has to be a commercially driven initiative, but you have to understand the ROI of this is not going to be an immediate ROI. It's an investment to the transformation of your organization to be relevant for these 40 million Pakistanis that are using the mobile internet every day. And that 40 million in the next 5 years is probably going to be 100 million, right? The other thing that we've done in terms of engaging in new businesses. So digital healthcare, this is another example from Pfizer, is digital healthcare is emerging as a new area to play for major pharmaceutical companies. So it's not about providing value just through the pill, it's actually providing value for new products and services that further strengthen the actual treatment that the patient is on. So I don't have diabetes, but if I had diabetes, I would subscribe you Norvasc, which is one of the Pfizer products. But on top of that, we want to give you a set of solutions that will make sure that you adhere to that product. Make sure that you get the prescription. Make sure that you have access to a doctor without going to the actual clinic. Make sure that you have all of these different technologies that are further supporting your therapeutic area. So if you are not a digital business, you need to think about how does digital enhance your customer experience of your existing product. So what is the value that you have here? So here for the Pfizer example is we sell a diabetes product, but then what is the value-added services that we can provide digitally that will further increase the revenue and share of this product, but also provide value to the customer here that could potentially in the future actually become a revenue-generating business as well. The way we've done that is we're setting up the first X Lab with Sheikh Mohammed's private office, so the UAE government, and the objective is to really focusing on solving a billion people problem. So Pfizer's relationship now with the UAE government is not of someone that is selling pills to a strategic partner that is essentially trying to help change the healthcare infrastructure in the UAE. So it's a different type of mindset. So one is that you want to generate revenue from here, but then you have opportunities to work and influence government and government regulators, because the problem with new technologies always is the government regulators are always the ones that are the slowest to embrace the change because they don't have that expertise. So one of the things that we've done because of this is to help guide that change. So that's just another example of what you can do. Another example is something that we did in Mexico. I think we did this also in Pakistan, which was reaching out to bottom of the pyramid mom and pop stores, so pan dukans, that were selling P&G products like Tide and Head and Shoulders in sachets. What we were realizing, these customers are actually not good business people, because most of them are illiterate. You know, they've just got a dukan chulali, you know what I mean? So what we did was, through video and pictures, we essentially developed something together with the International Finance Corporation, which was SMS and picturized tips on how you should have good shelving, right? How you should have a good shelf, how you should manage your stock, how you should manage your inventory. As a consequence of us helping them run their business more effectively, our sales within those stores increased by 200%. So we were giving benefit to these customers who are essentially our retailer, but we're providing them with additional value that's actually generating more sales for P&G. So this is actually my last slide, so it's good I've given 3 minutes back to you, Hamaya Saab, is digital is not about marketing, it's not about sales, it's not about IT, it's a combination of all three. So you have to really have a commercial-driven mindset on how you want to lead digital transformation. Again, don't expect instant results. You need to have at least a 2-year investment plan. So it's just like any R&D, you have to put the investment in, you have to put the capital in to get the benefit over the next 18 months. It's like when you roll out a product. You may not get instant sales, right? Or your sales will be very slow, so you have to continuously invest in the product to increase your market share. Think of digital like this as well. Set up for success. So we don't have too many digital people in this room, so you have to have the right level of resources with the right level of investment to drive that. The fourth one is do learn, fail, do learn, scale, and do it fast. You will fail, you will absolutely fail, and you will fail horribly. But you have to have, what do you call the jazba, to do the digital transformation. It's very, very important. Otherwise, your existence, something will happen, a new technology will come, it will disrupt your entire business, and then you will turn around and say, we knew that was coming, but we didn't act. So you've got to act now. Have a digital team focused on the medium to long term and promote and reward risk. Promoting and rewarding risk is really, really important. So when I talked about having a fixed mindset and a growth mindset of a senior leader, a growth mindset of a senior leader is someone that can take risk. And you have to take risk in these things because you have the risk, you have a huge risk and reward. The risk is you will fail and you will fail badly, but you have to get up, you have to learn, and then you have to move on and you have to scale, and it has to be an iterative thing because you're making your own future, right? You know, I can't predict what's going to happen in the next 2 years, right? But you have to do that yourself. The sixth one is partner and inquire instead of building solutions and services. So one of the biggest mistakes that we make when we go on a digital transformation journey is the IT guy saying, I'll make the website, I'll make the mobile app, I'll do all of these things. And all of these things die. They just die, right? You're not promoting your mobile app because a lot of these companies that have the website and have the mobile app are not actual digital businesses. So instead of doing that, acquire, connect with the startup ecosystem. How can you take equity positions in companies? And there's some great companies and there's some great work that Yusuf Bhai is doing and Hamaya Bhai is doing is, as Pakistani businesses, how are you engaging with these startups and these great ideas that require investment, but the other thing that they require is distribution, right? So they require distribution. So if you have the distribution, whether it be through retail, whether it be directly with your customer, through your loyalty program, whether it be anything else, That's the benefit that you bring. You can actually give them a platform on how they can grow their business, and as a consequence of that, it will grow your business. So that was my last slide. I've come back to Karachi after 9 years, and what I've seen is something I called organized chaos on the ground. So there's organized chaos on the ground, but what I've seen also is there's organization when it comes to technology. Everyone has biometric cards, everything exists in the cloud. So you may have organized chaos on the ground, but you're extremely very well advanced in the cloud because you have 4G, you have 5G. As Irfan Bhai said, you have the mechanics, you have an e-commerce industry that is growing exponentially. You have a $1 billion economy in e-commerce, which could very well be in 3 to 5 years, a $100 billion economy. Pakistan, I've done a lot of work in India. Pakistan is where India was about 5 to 6 years ago. And the reason why India is so successful in really driving digital transformation, it's not because of the likes of Pfizer. It's not because of the likes of IBM. It's because of the local Indian companies who are investing in the digital economy. The Reliances of this world, these companies, they are the ones that are investing in their own economy. So as Pakistani organizations, this is what you need to do. Because right now you have that audience. So I'll stop there. If there are any questions.
We'll take the questions right at the end.
So thank you very much.
Please.